In this video, I'm going to cover everything about UGC creatives that I do to scale my brands to over 100K months. From where do I find my creators? How much do I pay them? Do I send them briefs? And how do I handle the editing process to get as many creatives that I can test as possible? And how do we actually go about testing said creatives and scaling them when we have winners? This is everything you need to know about custom UGC creatives. Now, you may be wondering, when is it actually time for me to test a product with UGC and custom content? Because a lot of people have the wrong assumption that I should do that straight from the get-go. Now, I'm a big believer that you need proof of concept with any product, meaning you need to be making sales at least around 5 to 10 a day before you even think about investing $100, $200, $300 into a piece of creative. So when I test a product, I'm always trying to gather the best content online, script it out, plan out my own ads, plan out some image ads, video ads, just trying a bunch of different formats, frameworks, hooks, and messaging to see what resonates with my audience the most. So it's an intentional throwing spaghetti at the wall to see what is working. There's intention behind all the things we're testing, but from the surface, it just kind of looks like I'm randomly throwing a bunch of things at the wall, which for the most part, they're more educated guesses. You have me there. So when I test, I'm only taking the best content on the internet. And if I can't find great content for a product that I want to test, I'm usually not testing that product, if I'm being completely frank with you, because I want to sell a product that already has proven sales validation and does have content that I can run with and just get that proof of concept. Where if I spend $100, $200 over 2 to 3 days testing on Facebook or TikTok, it should show me some life. There should be something there to give me the hope and glimpse of, yes, if I put more effort into this product, it can scale beyond what it's currently doing. So that's the level that you want to approach it at. When I test a product, I should be able to get to around $500 to $1,000 a day without the need of custom UGC. But once you get to that point and you're realizing that you're starting to struggle with the lack of content out there, because maybe you only have 5 to 10 videos of your product, that's when it makes a ton of sense to start going down the custom UGC bandwagon. Now, where do you actually find creators? How do you start that process? I know it's very daunting, especially if you've never done this, and there's a few bells and whistles that come attached to it. Now, the first thing is you need to know where to find creators. Now, I would say the main places I've used is Twitter. I think Twitter is a great place where even if you have a new account, if you make a post saying, hey, I'm looking for UGC creators of a certain demographic, whether that's females, whether it's alpha males, chads, whether it's 18 to 45, 50 plus, you just specify what you're looking for, what you need in the creatives, and you're going to have people DMing you immediately. Now, if you want to do more of a job post on a more sophisticated, robust platform, there's 2 that I really like right now. Now, Billow's great. If you do a job post in there, you can usually get a fully made video for about $100. And if you message the person on the platform, you can get some extra B-roll clips sent that you can also use for your editor when you're making your other style ads that don't require as much of a UGC creator in them. But it's always good to get extra B-roll shots. Now, I also like Creator Corner from Jimmy Farley. He already has a full course and program that trains people on how to make engaging viral TikTok ads on TikTok Shop, but it's very applicable for when you are also scaling your own dropshipping brand. You can use these creators, come up with deals, $300, $800 a month retainer, and get 20 to 30 videos for your product. And with those creators, you don't even have to have a brief. You just say, here's the product, here are the main selling points, go at it. Just give me a piece of content, one piece of content every single day that I can test. And if you do the math, $800 divided by, let's say 30, that's less than $30 a video, which you're not going to get anywhere else in the UGC world. If you contact a lot of these creators on Twitter, for instance, they're very overpriced. They're very bougie. They honestly don't think their shit smells. They're way above what, in my opinion, they are worth. So they will charge $100 and they'll say, you have usage rights of 3 months on my content before you have to pay me. Or you have to, they always have these weird clauses and stipulations, which I just don't like whatsoever. And a lot of times it makes it not even worth it to deal with them. So I love Creator Corner. I love Billow. I also love a new platform called Join Brands. I don't know if it's necessarily new, but it's new for me. Join Brands is another platform where you can do a job post and essentially hire UGC creators for about $100 per video. And if that's a little bit steep, I would say the final option you have is Fiverr. You can look for UGC creators on there. There's definitely a few good ones. I know I have a coach, Steven. He scaled his brands to over 100K months as well, and he primarily does use Fiverr. So those are the main options when it comes to just finding the talent out there. Now, when it comes to negotiating, I would say you never really want to pay more than $100 to $150 for a piece of content. And for me, a lot of times I don't have the creator just make one video. I will send them a brief of here's multiple hooks, here's multiple problems, here's multiple benefits, multiple social proof testimonial style clips of you saying you love love the product. So that way I can mix and mash and turn that one piece of content into 10 different ads or 15 different ads. So that's how I get the best bang for my buck when I'm spending $100 to $200 on a more higher end UGC creator. But in general, I would say the range that you want to live in is about 50 to 100 for one piece of content. If you're really just trying to get one piece of content done, I would say anything more than that is you're not going to notice a drastic improvement in quality if you spend more money. Let's say you spend 3 times more money. It's really not going to make much of a difference. There's just some people that charge more money. So I would say the best approach is usually trying out multiple creators because you really don't know who's going to work based on their portfolio. Everyone's going to send you a portfolio. It's all going to look good and fine and dandy on the surface. But once you actually send a product to someone and you get their ad edited, that's when you find out if they're good or not. That's just the reality. You have to try and bark up a lot of trees before you really find your 1 to 2 creators that you were going to bring on for retainer and keep on making content. Now, a lot of people wonder, when I am testing creators, do I send them this brief or do I let them kind of go on their own tangent about why they like the product? And I would say it depends. I primarily like to do briefs because I do believe these creators are not marketers at the end of the day. They are more actors. They are here to portray a certain feeling and emotion, authenticity to make your script come to life and be relatable to your audience to then convert them into sales. So everyone has a different process. Some people like to just say, here are the main selling points about my product. Come up with whatever you would like to sell it. I like to have some structure where at least I know at the bare minimum, you're going to get some hooks done for me and some lines that are said the way they need to be said. Because if you really do suck and you don't know what you're doing, then the worst case scenario is you get the lines that I wanted and then, okay, you messed up some lines that you tried to ad lib essentially. So I think it's a good insurance policy to have some lines in there that are hard written in there that they shouldn't change. And then if you want to give them some flexibility and freedom over time because they've proven themselves, then that's more than fine. But I think for a first initial test, a brief makes more sense just because you don't know what you're going to get with them if they go all natural and try to come up with their own lines. A lot of people don't know what they're doing. I would say the majority. But when you do find a creator you like, I would say from that point, you keep working with them. You can give them more flexibility, show them what's already working in the industry, have them model that. Because I would say the creator is more important than the actual brief and script that you write, which I know is counterintuitive because I'm a big believer in split testing and really focusing a lot on scripting. And it is important when you're editing your own ads with the content you have available. But when you're working and getting custom content, what's going to make the biggest difference is the authenticity and believability of that creator. Because you can give, and I make this analogy a lot, you can give 100 movie actors the same script. The one who's going to get the part is the one who executed the best. And it's the same thing with creators. I could give 10 people the exact same script. One is going to absolutely crush it out of the park. They're going to be so authentic. They're going to be just so personable and energetic and have this magnetism that people are just going to want to keep watching them, that video gets a lot more watch time. More people finish the ad and learn all the benefits of my product and therefore click on the ad and buy my product and has a much higher return on investment than someone else with the exact same lines that says it in the exact same way, but just doesn't have that same enthusiasm, that same tonality. So the creator really does make or break a lot of these things. You could have, I would say, a B- script and an A+ creator, and you're going to have an ad that crushes, but you could have an A+ script and a B- to C+ creator, and it's not going to work. It really is that important. I would say the creator is about 2 to 3 times more important than the actual script that you have. And that's why you have to circle through and you have to try out a lot of different creators to really see who actually can execute. It's a guessing game. Now, obviously, you can have a more educated guess by looking at their portfolio, seeing what they've already done, seeing if they have that tonality, see if you actually watch their ads. Do you enjoy it? Like, do you feel entertained to a certain extent, even if you're not that audience? Because some people you can just tell. And I would say that the creator corner people from Jimmy Farley are really, really good at keeping you entertained, keeping you watching, keeping you engaged. They know all the little tips and tricks and secrets. But with other UGC creators in the wild, some of them you can tell they're a little bit slower with the pacing and they don't understand that every second matters and their tonality comes out flat and they just don't seem authentic. They don't really seem enthused to be talking about the product. So the creator really is everything. Now, when it comes to editing, when you get sent back your content, usually there's two ways you can do it. Either you get the creator to basically film clips as part of a script, or you get them to just film B-roll shots. You have a list, a shot list is what it's called, of, I need a shot for this hook of before and after. So get a shot of you in a mirror smiling and then in a mirror frowning. So you can go either way. It's depending on what you need. Obviously, you're going to need both when you're really scaling. And I would say, actually, before we get into this whole like editing thing, if you're wondering how many creatives you really need to get to $1,000 a day, you just need about 2 to 3 winning ads. To get to 2 to 3 winning ads, you're going to need at least 20 to 30 ads that you've tested. So if you test 20 to 30 ads in 1 week, you're probably going to find 2 to 3 winners. If it takes you 10 or a week to test 10 creatives, it's probably going to take you 3 weeks to get to that 2 to 3 winning ad mark. So if you want to continually be doing $1,000 a day, you're going to be having to test about 15 to 20 ads, I would say, a week. If you want to get to $5,000 a day, which you're going to need about 10 winning ads to get to that point, 5 to 10, I would say, you're going to be needing to test about 20 to 30 ads per week. Now, this doesn't mean all brand spanking new ads. I mean, these are just variations. These are maybe image ads that you're also testing as well. I'm just talking about video ads specifically, but image ads are things that you can easily whip up and make variations and headlines and little split tests. So it really shouldn't be that difficult or as daunting as you may think it is. Now, going back to editing. So we need to be testing, let's say we're at $1,000 a day and I want to get to $5,000 a day. I need to really up my creative load. So I need to get to 20 to 30 creatives per week, ideally. To do that, you either are going to have a creator work on one video, which I think is a waste of time to have them just do one video. So how I typically do it is either they go through and they film a brief, which has multiple hooks, multiple problems, multiple everything. So that way we can turn that one project, one batch, into the 10 to 15 ads we need that week. Or you have them do B-roll content only, where they don't talk and all they're doing is getting product demo shots. So here's someone using the product. Here's the results of the product. Here's whatever B-roll shot you need. Here's the problem that the product solves. That's essentially most of the clips you're going to get. It's either showing the problem, showing the benefit, showing how the problem works, or showing how the product works. My mistake. And any hook shots that you think would be interesting visually. It's usually most of the time. Now, when you're editing, you do need, in a lot of cases, an editor brief. You need to tell your editor, here's the direction. Here is the script. Here is the order of clips for this ad. And here's the order of clips for this one. Or you can do a project. So how I do it, I a lot of times will do with my editors, here's one base ad, and here's the 5 variations you need to make of it. So the one base ad has the main clips you need to use and the script and the order of everything. It has the editing style. We have a brief on how to edit. And then the 5 variations, there will be, for the 1B of this ad, change out this hook and try this instead. For 1C, try out this. So usually we do one base and then 5 variations. Or we might do 2 base ads, 5 variations of each, and then that's 10 ads. So a lot of the times when I'm making 15 new ads for the week, it's really just 3 new videos and then 5 variations. So 5 hook variations, and a lot of times, because hooks are the most important thing to split test, because if people aren't watching past the hook, they're not going to watch all the extra work you did in the body and the call to action. So that's really the most important thing to split test. Now, when it comes to testing, let's say you get your 15 ads done. You worked with your editor. You got an editor. If you're wondering where to find editing talent, most of the time I find them from Upwork or Fiverr. Those 2 places are really good. You need to trial them. Set up a simple job post. You give them a content folder. Have them work on something, give them an editor brief of, okay, here's the script, here are the clips I want you to choose, or you could just give them the script and say, here's a folder. To the best of your abilities, choose what clips you think would work and keep these things in mind about pacing, about keeping the hooks interesting, et cetera, and see who comes up with the best edit. A lot of times trials are just going to be the only way you can figure out who's good and who's bad. So once you have your 15 ads, what do you do from there? Well, you need to start testing. So for testing, there's 2 approaches I like, and this applies to both Facebook and TikTok. On Facebook, 1 ad group, a set of 3 to 5 ads. So if I have 15 ads, I will most likely do 3 ad groups, each with 5 unique ads. Simple as that. TikTok, same thing. Now, when it comes to do I do ABO or CBO, I prefer ABO. So each ad group getting a minimum amount of spend of usually $20 a day. And I do that again on both platforms. Now, when it comes to scaling, you test those creatives for 2 to 3 days. You notice most of them aren't going to work. You might have 1 or 2 winners. Where do you go from there? What I would do, so let's say we have our 3 ad groups, each with 5 ads. So 5 how-to ads, 5 problem product demonstration, and 5 testimonial. Let's say out of all these ads, only 2 ads worked and they were both from product demo. So what I do is I kill these ad groups. They didn't work. It happens. Then in the product demo, I would isolate those 1 and 2 ads and I would duplicate them into 3 new ad groups in the same campaign. So that's usually the first method of scaling. Duplicating that winning ad group, so in this case, product demo, 3 times into the same campaign and only letting those 2 creatives spend. The other 3 that failed in that ad group, no point in letting them run. Just let those 2 that worked. And then in the original ad group, I will vertically scale it up. So every day that's profitable, I'll vertically scale it up 20 to 25%. Then the next scaling method, if those work, and I would say even if it doesn't work, that first scaling method of duplicating it multiple times in the same campaign, you can try to isolate those creatives into a new campaign. Meaning you duplicate those 2 creatives into a CBO. CBO, 3 ad groups. All 3 ad groups are identical and they have the 2 creatives inside of each. So each ad group is identical in setup to the creative level as well. You let that run $100 a day, see what happens. That's another method of scaling. The whole point of scaling is to try to put more money into the creatives that are already working. So those are multiple ways you can do it. I have full videos when it comes to really scaling from there. But in order to get these 100 grand months, what I just showed you, 120 grand a month, that's really all we're doing. It's just that we're testing with more volume of creatives. We're obviously doing a lot of offer split testing, which is not the point of this video, but I know I've hammered that into your little numbskull a million times. And if you want a full video on offers, even though I have a full video, in fact, I would actually watch this one video right here about offer split testing and all I do, because that really covers a lot. And I think that's a very underrated video, especially because people just don't realize the importance of it and how big of a deal it is. But yeah, to get to 100 grand a month, it's just a lot of creative testing. It's having a system in place. So if you want to get UGC creators and you now know exactly where to find them, how much you should be paying them, what you should be sending them in terms of briefs and content, and how to edit, how to test, how to scale. So if you enjoyed this video, make sure to leave a like, comment down below if you want any new ideas or topics for me to talk about, and I will see you in the next video.